Today on All Things 80s, it's time for another random Star Wars figure review. Welcome back to All Things 80s. It's been a while, so it's time for another random Star Wars figure review. So without further ado, let's pick a number and review that figure. So, number 24 has given us the Rancor Keeper, and this, in my opinion, and my opinion only, is one of the more disappointing figures in the line. Now, released in 1984 as part of the second wave of Return of the Jedi figures, and much like many of the figures in this line, we got a lot of, background characters released. Now, I'm not saying this guy was in the background per se, but he didn't really play a massive part in the movie. Famous for his sobbing scene, of course. Now, the figure itself is of a portly gentleman with a hood and some baggy pants, some sort of snazzy 80s style pixie boots, and a massive diaper, basically. Now, accessory wise, he comes with a gaffy stick and a hood. Now, this is where things get interesting. Now, before we get to looking at this guy in more detail, the only variants that I'm aware of come in the form of there are 2 different colours of hood and 3 different colours of the gaffy stick. Now, what for me makes this figure problematic is that once you lose the hood, I mean, like this, it's okay, it does look like the character we saw on the big screen, but once the hood is gone, you have a fat, bald man. In fact, he's not unlike Aleister Crowley, the great beast. Interesting. Also interesting to me is he has a reverse farmer's tan, where obviously the plastic for the body and the arms is different, and he's got a darker body and lighter coloured arms. Now, he's even got the sort of the folds of back fat. So this is a very large gentleman, and I should probably have included this in my list of figures that were kids did not want. Now, I didn't have this as a kid. I'm trying to think if it was available while I was still collecting Star Wars. I'm not entirely sure, but I think I would not have used my pocket money to purchase this when there were other cool figures available. Now, I guess if you are doing a Jabba the Hutt diorama type thing and you have the Rancor, of course you want to have the Rancor Keeper. But for me, I wanted my action figures to be athletic action figures, not some fat bald guy, which invariably this becomes, because this, as you can see, comes off so easily. So when you see these figures used on eBay, a lot of them are in this form. And obviously they are extremely cheap like this because it's not a very nice looking action figure. Now, as I mentioned, was released in the second wave of Return of the Jedi figures in 1984. So therefore it obviously came on the Return of the Jedi card, and in Europe it came on the Jedi card, and then the Power of the, not the Power of the Force, the Tri-Logo card. No Power of the Force for this figure, thankfully. Now, because it's not one of the more desirable figures, it's actually rather cheap to buy mint on card. Now, having a quick look today, it is available mint on card for 65 US dollars, which isn't at all bad. Obviously, it's a yellow bubble, but if you want a brand new figure, $65 isn't too crazy of a price. But in closing, I will just say that this is not one of my favorite figures, shall we say. Obviously, if you want a complete collection, you're going to have to get them. But finding them loose complete, that's a challenge. But as I just highlighted, if you are like me and you do open vintage toys, by all means go ahead, spend 65 bucks and grab yourself a brand new Rancor Keeper. So that was a look at the Rancor Keeper, and sadly it's one of these figures that when they lose their accessories, they become really, really bad looking action figures, and nobody wants a fat bald man in their toy collection. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that quick review. Thank you for watching. Special thanks goes out to the patrons. Please like, please subscribe, and as always, stay tuned for more videos from All Things 80s.